Hi, this is Jim Fong with the Jim Fong Group at Urban Nest Realty here in Las Vegas, and today we're going to be talking about how to make your house stand out when it's on the market for sale. All right, so first things first, we all know that kitchens and master bedrooms, suites, and bathrooms just are the focal points of homes on the inside. All right, but those renovations can be very expensive to do, or you might even have those things done already too. So we're going to focus on the outside today. All right, so we're going to talk about the front yard and the backyard for that matter, but something that people talk a lot about is curb appeal. All right, curb appeal is very important. It is the first impression people have on your house. When I'm unlocking the door, people are looking, my clients are looking around the outside, and it gives them kind of expectations of the inside. So it is really important. So if you pull up to a house, obviously you hope that you don't pull up to a house like this. All right, definitely no curb appeal at all, not inviting at all. All right, and this is kind of an extreme case, but let's move on to this next example. All right, again, not very appealing right when you pull up. Right, here's another example of something that doesn't have great curb appeal. You do want to pull up to something that looks like this though, right? Just nice landscaping, clean looking, right? Here's another example of a no curb appeal, another one with no curb appeal, and then one with curb appeal. All right, so this house is nice and neat and clean. It's very inviting and gives you a good overall impression of the house. And that doesn't mean that you have to go crazy and spend a lot of money. I mean, if you have a more basic yard like this, just maybe adding a little bit of landscaping can freshen it up and make it look a little better like this one, right? But, landscaping's important, but you have to have it look neat too. So here, I want to give you a couple examples of overgrown landscaping. Look at this house, definitely needs a little trimming. This house, look at all these beautiful palm trees, but it looks like it's completely overgrown. And this next one, again, you can't even see the house. The tree is covering the whole house, right? So those are examples of something that needs cleanup or trimming. Let me just show you an example of a house that's nice and trimmed. Bushes are manicured. This just gives a great feeling. It looks like the landscaping has been maintained, and it just has a much better look on the outside, all right? So now that we've talked about the front, which is very important, let's consider the backyard too, all right? How important is the backyard? Well, you definitely don't want to look at a backyard like this. You look at it, it's just not inviting at all. Definitely not inviting. This would be, when I ask buyers, what are the pluses and minuses of the house? This kind of backyard would be a minus for sure, all right? And here's another example. And what do a lot of real estate agents always talk about when you show up to a house like this? Oh, it's a blank slate or blank canvas. You can do it for your imagination. Let's be real here. It basically just is. There's nothing back there, and that's just more work for you to do. So, does it mean that you have to do this and put a pool and covered patios and all that stuff? You don't need to do that, but just something subtle, something different like this gives it more usable space right here, or this next one with the paver patio and some artificial grass goes a long way, and it looks great too. All right, but you do also want to be careful as well too. You don't want to overdo it as well. Here's an example of an overdone backyard. It just looks very crowded. It makes it look small, congested. So yeah, you want to be careful with the patio furniture. You don't want to overdo it with too much stuff back there. It just looks too busy, and it becomes a minus again at that point, okay? But let's just say you have some type of landscaping back in the backyard already too, like these examples right here. It looks like it has some grass, some dead spots, some dry spots. In cases like that, or maybe these cases where you just have nothing but dirt in the backyard and you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you want it to make it look cleaner, just consider these examples. Look, just fresh rocks, just to give it a cleaner look like this. All right, it goes a long way when you do that. And let's just consider that you don't have a very big backyard either, like these yards, little side yards, very small yards. Well, you're like, if you put a little money into it, it looks a lot better and a lot cleaner. And especially if your house is not too big or your yard is not too big, well, what better way to show all the usable space for the property that someone would be buying, right? It's not just the inside. I mean, if your house is small on the inside and you give it some usable space outside, it actually gives them more space to use, and it's definitely value added. Here's an example of some small landscaping jobs that just made a big difference as well too. So when you have landscaping to do, or lack of landscaping in a yard, a lot of times buyers will consider it a negative for your property, because landscaping, let's face it, it's going to take an investment of your time, or just some work you have to put in, or money you have to spend. So if those things are done already too, the potential buyer is going to see it as an advantage because they don't have to do it. Or you're just giving them another space to love about the house. I mean, they could love the kitchen, they could love the master bathroom, they could love the layout. And then you add on top and the backyard is done. I think it's just a great thing to consider. It's somewhat lower cost than doing renovations inside, and it goes a long way. And your question is, well, does it really add value to my property? And my answer would be yes, definitely. I mean, when you look at an appraisal report, you see your subject property, which is your house, and then you look at the comparables that they're using to determine the value of your house. Well, on that part of the report, there are adjustments. All right, there's clearly a part for landscaping, and there's adjustments that could be made. So if you have landscaping and they're comparing it to a property that does not have landscaping, they'll actually add value to your property. So the question of, does it really add value? Yes, it absolutely does, especially on an appraisal, and that's a good thing to have. So if you want to make your home stand out when it's on the market, I would have you considering the exterior of the house. It could be the deciding factor. I mean, if it comes down to, we love this house, we love that house, we like the kitchen on that house, we like the kitchen on this house, and then you have something, and it's a tough decision to make. I mean, the thing that could help you is, well, that yard's done already. So think about that, consider it. And hey, if you do landscaping or you own a landscaping company, connect with me. And if you're considering getting some landscaping done or want some ideas, I want you to connect with me also, and I will connect you two together, and then hopefully something could happen. So again, this is Jim Fong with the Jim Fong Group at Urban Nest Realty in Las Vegas. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you next time. Thanks.